Welcome to Push Culture News. I'm Brian Davenport, and this is the December edition of the Push Culture News Desk. It's also the last time that you're going to hear from us in 2012, and I've got to say, we had a blast this year. When Travis and I first brainstormed the concept for this show, we had no idea what to expect. But your overwhelming support has proven that we were right to throw our entire lives into this project. So from the bottom of our hearts, thank you for helping make our dreams a reality. Now, that being said, if you think we blew it in any way whatsoever, either on the show or on the road, we'd like to know. Because as is the case with anything we produce, there is always room for improvement. And a little criticism is often the best way to figure out what needs changing. So please, if you have some constructive criticism, email me personally at brian@pushculture.com. If you just want to say you guys did a great job all year, we really appreciate that too. Just leave it in the comments section below. Let's go right into our products for the show today. Seismic has an interesting new lineup of wheels. They've taken their proven race shapes and filled them with their elixir urethane they use in the slide wheels to create something different. Something that will more appropriately handle the demands of the average rider. Most riders don't have the luxury of choosing between a slide wheel or a race wheel because, frankly, they only have one set. Also, check out the booster wheel. It comes in 97 and 101A and utilizes Seismic's large core designs as well. So if you can't decide what might suit you best, Seismic may have exactly what you've been looking for. Now here's a board brand that you don't know nearly well enough, I'm sure, but they've probably influenced the guys that built your favorite deck. In 2013, Quebec skateboards will be 21 years old. In the good old US of A, that's old enough to buy a beer, and certainly older than most of you watching this video. So what do we have to learn from these East Coast Canadians? That persistence and quality are more valuable than a fat checkbook and good marketing. You can buy your way into the game, but it does not come with a seat at the table. That must be earned. Long before you tweeted your first standee, Quebec was making pro models for the likes of Dado and John Barnett. Heading into 2013 with some fresh blood and 20 years of experience, Quebec will be revamping the brand, updating the lineup, and increasing production. So with 2012 in the books, we at Push Culture would like to say we're glad you've innovated in the good times, sustained through the hard times, and learned through it all. Quebec Skateboards, we salute you. Over on the West Coast, there's recently been some exciting changes to the 5 Mile brand. Here's 5 Mile founder Cody Shea to tell you a little about it.
This is Cody Shea here at the 5 Mile Warehouse in Tacoma, Washington. Here to give you guys a sample of the new 2013 line coming out under Resource Distribution. What that means to all you skaters out there is that we're going to have an entirely new line of skateboards. We're going to have 8 new models with 8 new graphics. Every model's been fine-tuned to exactly what we wanted it to be from the beginning. This is the Lady Liberty, which was previously known as the F-18 Hornet. We decided to give our whole line a makeover for the 2013 line just because it's kind of a new beginning for us, joining Resource and giving the people a product that we're extremely proud of. You're going to see curves on this next line like you've never seen on a skateboard before. For more information, check out Resource Distribution and very soon 5mileskateboards.com. I hope you have a happy holiday. Back to you, Brian.
Now last but not least is the Road Rider Railgun. This time-tested shape is equally at-home racing as it is free riding. And for only $135, you get an 8-ply top mount reinforced with fiberglass and carbon fiber inlays, which keeps the weight down, makes sure the concave stays fresh throughout the life of the board, and makes it strong enough for you heavier guys that would normally require a 9-ply. The Complete comes nicely optioned with hollow trucks, the new 72mm comp Thanes, Indy 7 bearings, and coarse mob grip for just $215. This is also the very same deck that Kyle just won on at Teutonia. If you haven't heard of Kyle Wester yet, start paying attention. Being a Colorado native, this Road Rider team rider is no stranger to going fast, but this was his first season on the road. It all started when he kicked everyone's butt at the Laguna Seca Invitational. That secured his Road Rider sponsorship, and then it was off to the races. He's been at least a semi-finalist at almost every race he's attended and has piled on the experience fast. His years of big mountain riding and rado paid off when he beat 11 Brazilians on their home turf at Teutonia, what some refer to as the only race that matters. As the 2012 season has wound down, it seems Kyle Wester was getting wound up. He recently just came in second place in Hot Heels down in South Africa. So don't be surprised when he continues to beat your favorite racers in the 2013 season. Congratulations to Douglas Silva on winning the IGSA World Cup Series Championship. Downunder made history by breaking into the Guinness Book of World Records as the fastest man on a skateboard at 70.21 miles an hour. That record has since been broken, but Downunder has not slowed down. With a father's determination, the experience of a 29-year-old veteran, and his very own signature deck from rain, Downunder has finally clinched his first international title. Now, it can be a little confusing, so let's clear up who won what this year. The World Cup Series is a set number of races determined by the IGSA at the beginning of the year. The World Championships is just one of those World Cup races. In Calgary, James Kelly won this year's World Championship race. Last year, it was Michaud Urban at Teutonia. The World Championships is intended to bring the most talented field of riders together in one place for one event, which in theory makes the most competitive field. Now, the title of World Cup Series champion is awarded to the racer who finishes consistently better than everyone else throughout the entire year. Last year, P-Swiss was able to secure the win before the summer was even over. But this year, the competition stayed tight right up until the last event, Hot Heels in West Cape, South Africa. At the World Cup events, each rider is awarded a certain number of points based on their finishing positions. Then, each rider's top 5 finishes determines where they stand in the World Cup Series rankings. So, according to the IGSA structure, James Kelly is the world champion because he won the World Championship race in Calgary. Downunder is the World Cup Series champion because he earned the most points by finishing well at every World Cup he attended. It can be a little confusing, but at the end of the day, neither title is easy to come by, and both champions are legitimate champions. So again, congratulations to Douglas Silva on being the best racer in 2012. Rebecca Gimperle is the ladies' World Cup Series champion. Bex was also awarded the World Championship in Calgary, but honorably handed it over to whom she believed was the rightful winner, Switchback team rider Dominique Vukarep. The Junior 2 Series champion is Quinn Finocchio. After racking up enough points early on in the season, it was announced that Quinn was the World Cup Series champion on the IGSA website. But his cozy spot atop the podium was threatened when the day before the Teutonia finals, the IGSA decided that the Junior 2 riders would be awarded World Cup points at Teutonia after all. This event was never listed as a Junior 2 World Cup stop, and Quinn was not in Brazil, so all of a sudden, his announced win was negated by the possibility of being edged out by those in attendance. However, a true champion will prevail in the face of adversity, and Quinn seemed to have no trouble locking in the title again with yet another first-place finish in South Africa. Quinn just turned 18, is no longer a junior, and will be charging hard into the open class next year.
So gnarly.
Way too fast.
As is always the case in Australia, the toilets flush backwards, and summer comes around Christmas time. That means, while you're dreading the inevitable snow, they're gearing up for a season full of ASRO events. So, here's Jenica with a Downunder update.
G'day folks, Jenica reporting here from Downunder, Sydney, New South Wales, Australia. It's been cranking hot lately, things have been heating up here down in Australia. Heaps of events have been happening left, right and centre. It's coming into summer and things are kicking off. First up we've had the Grom Bomb, an under-18s event for all the Sydney shredders and people from all over Australia. Big shout out to Josh Evans for taking the first place, absolutely killing it. Next up after that we've had over in WA the Jacks Attack downhill race, then back to the east coast, down south in Victoria for the Yarra Ranges Downhill Festival. In New South Wales we've had the return of the Wild Wild West, one of the biggest outlaw races in Australia. Big thanks to Sector 9 for throwing down and organising the bus to get all the riders out to the hill. Thanks to Sector 9, we couldn't do it without ya. Also, the newest addition to the Hop Shop, brand new mini ramp. We kicked off things with the Arbor Shakedown Takedown. We've invited the best street skaters in Sydney to come into a one-on-one elimination style ramp jam. And I'm stoked to say that our newest team rider, Matt Bates, took out the gold. Well done, Matt. Welcome to the Hop Shop team. Big shout out goes to the Keen Skaters Media Group for doing the first annual charity slide jam in Sydney. They raised over $2,500 for street work and brought nearly 300 people to one hill for an entire day. Better yet, the cops showed up and let us skate by shutting down the road for us and continuing the jam. Couldn't be happier. This is Jackson Shapiro reporting from Sydney, Australia. Back to you, Brian.
If you're interested in hosting an event in the upcoming year, good for you. But please remember, it's important that as this sport grows, it remains both sustainable and safe. Creating an event on Facebook does not equate to hosting a legitimate skateboard event. Nor does it warrant soliciting prizes from the industry for what is essentially you and your friends sessioning your local hill. You're a stoked skater who likes to skate in a group with his friends, and that's awesome, but you have no right calling your session an event. Real events have insurance, hay, rules, prize money, and lots of organization. Event organization is the last thing in the world you should be learning by trial and error. People's lives are at stake, and there's certain things you simply must get right the first time. If you want legitimacy, go to the courthouse and find out what it's going to take to close the road. Search out local sponsors, look to your parents' business, the local skate shop, or maybe your favorite burger joint in town. Whatever it may be, but it's your job to ensure that the event will actually happen before you mention it to anyone outside your community. If you don't have permission, you're running an outlaw, and that's an entirely different story, and certainly not something you should be promoting publicly on Facebook. Keep in mind, while you may think skateboarding is not a crime, breaking the speed limit on a skateboard certainly is. And that is more than enough reason for the police to show up and send you all home. All this to say, there needs to be a distinction between organized events and events created on Facebook next year. Don't forget, the authorities still seem to think that all skateboards belong in skate parks. It is now your responsibility to affect how they will respond to skateboarding in the future. That's all I got for now. Thank you so much for watching the December edition of the Push Culture News Desk. I'm Brian Davenport, and once again, from the entire Push Culture family, we could not be more grateful for your support and overwhelming encouragement this year. If you have not yet, please subscribe to our channel at pushculturenews.com. Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at PushCulture, and stay up to date so we can keep you informed. It's your job to ensure that the event will actually happen before you mention it to anyone outside your community. Sure, you can use Facebook to promote,